Welcome to the Sisterhood Presents the Seasons of Downton Abbey. And I'm Kathy Snyder.
And I'm Marilyn Smith.
And we're both members of Las Adelphas Circle of the Garden Club of St. Augustine. We have been doing Sisterhood programs for about 15, 16 years.
Yes.
And we picked up Downton Abbey, of course, several years ago when it became so very popular. And it gave us such inspiration to use flowers in an interesting way, not with the Downton budget, but with our budget. So we hope that we've got some good ideas for you to use in different seasons and effects you can get with plants that are not so hybridized, not just from a florist, maybe things you grow in your own yard. And then you can use some beautiful flowers with that. So hopefully we've got ideas to share with you, and we'll have some fun.
Yes, we always have fun.
Yes, that's the most important
Don't
part.
do it if it isn't.
So stay tuned for some interesting ideas for fall, winter, spring, and summer. Welcome back. Now we're going to do spring and summer at Highclere or Downton Abbey. And once again, you can reference this wonderful book that's in your library, and it has wonderful recipes as well as beautiful pictures of the gardens and the family that worked so hard to make this beautiful estate really go through the seasons, and you can see the beauty in every season. And we have not just the real Highclere and the real Carnarvons, but we have our fictional family right down here, the Downton Abbey crew, the Crawleys, and we're excited.
We are.
Yeah, because the movie is coming out on March 18th of 2022, and it's going to be totally positive. That's what we've heard. There's going to be a wonderful weddings and all sorts of happiness.
Inspirational.
Right, inspirational. And Violet, once again, will be in attendance. And in fact, she's a big feature.
She is.
This time. So Maggie Smith is not going anywhere, and neither are we. We'll be right in the seats watching the movie and ready to review it with you next. Hopefully, our first live presentation at the library, we pray that it will be next fall, and we'll be able to do Downton Abbey again in person with you.
We've missed you.
Yes, we have missed our live audiences.
Yes.
We get a lot from you. You give us back things. So we're going to do some spring work now. We have a downstairs piece, which is a little tea caddy, and we're going to make it into an arrangement. We have made a collar for the caddy with fern, beautiful on the back.
It's always good to grow petite things. This is a fine, just a beautiful little fern.
And it has a nice little stiff stem, so it inserts into the oasis. Then we've taken some small pieces of seeded eucalyptus and finished out the round, and now we'll build the arrangement on top of that. And we have some wonderful spring colors, and we're going to bring those up, and we're going to start working with those. We have a great hydrangea.
Do you want me to try to pop that in?
Get that in there.
It is so big. I think I'm going to reduce it a little.
Right.
How about that?
He may be just a little bit bigger than we want him to be. Here we go, right here.
We cannot keep track of our scissors. She's scissorless now.
Pair of scissors. We're
On camera.
Well, we'll find them.
We'll share. We'll share.
We can share.
It's fun. We've done that before.
I'll go off camera and see.
She's off camera searching. While she's searching, we'll make this hydrangea just a little bit smaller because and also if you do that, if you buy a hydrangea and you can cut portions of it off with small stems and then just put them in and put them right next to each other. Be careful, they do break.
They're watery stems.
They are watery stems. You could take pointed scissors
make
a hole in your wet oasis
so you don't
and
snap
pop
it off.
it down in there, and it looks like it's a whole hydrangea where it's only pieces, and I think that's helpful. I might put a little piece on the back, Kathy. What do you think?
Okay, sounds good.
Or do you have another plan?
No, that sounds great.
Okay.
Hydrangea is interesting because the flower of the hydrangea
Yes.
is the little tiny little thing
In the
middle.
center.
That's the flower.
Yeah.
And the other thing are just leaves.
Yes.
So, everybody always thinks that's the flower. And when we do ours, we're getting ready to do another program, and we're going to film it in January and in December. It'll air in January. It is part of the St. Johns County Reads program, which revolves around 4 books that talk about secrets, about things that, either aren't expressed or are held back for one reason or another.
The British are famous.
That's
for it.
right.
It's called Victorian restraint.
Right, exactly. So we're going to do a presentation on Victorian language of flowers. And it's quite a fun thing to do. What you mean?
Well, I was just going to tell them that a hydrangea can be your frog.
Mm-hmm.
People who follow us hear us say this all the time ad nauseum, but you can run roses right down through the hydrangea and open that rose just a little, and
it holds it in place.
Yeah, it holds it in place, and it's just a real pretty look. Okay, so
we will work with a compilation of many Victorian dictionaries of flower definitions, and we will tell you a little bit about some flowers that you thought were really quite lovely, and they are quite lovely, but they have a very negative meaning. For instance, the hydrangea, which you see a lot of brides
walking up the aisle.
Yeah, and in Victorian era, that really meant, that's what I thought, great nuns, that it meant I care nothing about you. I am totally indifferent to you. So not the greatest message for a bride
For the wedding
out.
day.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful flower. So today we don't think that much about the definition, but we'll show you at a time when they couldn't express themselves. Victorian ladies couldn't just come right out and say what's on their minds. Too bad, but they couldn't.
Too bad.
And they oftentimes were, marrying or being betrothed to men that they really didn't care anything about. You had to be very subtle in the way you gave him that message, that you really would just rather him peddle his wares elsewhere. So, we'll talk about that in our program that we'll be filming in December and will be airing in January. So look for that, and many other programs that will dovetail into this theme of secrets. And that is the St. Johns County Reads theme this year, and they're using several books to do it. So I think it's going to be great fun. That was one of our favorite programs. That was our last big program for St. Johns County, was the Where the Crawdads Sing. And we so enjoyed
such
doing
a good program.
Yeah, it was such fun material to work with, and a wonderful book, a wonderful story, and a great theme, especially for our area, because we are that marsh, natural area that has so many beautiful things, and is a land that needs to be understood. So we're keeping this pretty low, and it's kind of following the profile of the container. And Marilyn's going to do one of our favorite things.
Well, first let's do this.
Oh yeah.
Let's put this
Let's make this fun.
It's spring, so radishes.
Yes, there I am.
Are a big deal in the spring.
Right.
This is a plain, ordinary radish, and you just cut a piece out. The piece is back there somewhere.
Here he is.
Okay.
Here's a little wedge.
Yes.
Cut out.
And when inside the
party
radish
on the
is
inside.
that, it is gorgeous.
This is called a watermelon radish.
And I think
And it has
right
the party on the
there.
inside.
Yes.
It really is.
Put it on a skewer, put it on in your arrangement. It's absolutely adorable.
Mhm.
And sometimes we
Yeah, we'll
keep
take
the
the little-
pieces,
We might need that
and
we could dress up our lantern.
sure,
with
we
that.
put it on. You could put 5 of them if you wanted to, right up along end to end on a skewer, and have it come out of your arrangement, and that's pretty
We
too.
didn't get these guys.
We did not.
They may be too big. They may be too big.
But I did think about this.
Yeah, let's do that. for sure.
Stromantha leaves. I think I like it. I don't know. I think I
What the
like
pink
this
On
side.
the white side?
I
Yeah,
think.
I like that. It picks up the white in the
Well,
tea
you can
container.
try that too.
No, I like the
I
white
think I
side.
like the white. Okay.
Stromantha is part of the ginger family.
Yes.
And we love a stromantha. There are many different kinds of gingers, but stromantha is pink, green, and white. And on the back side, it's solid pink. And but on the front side, it's variegated. It's got pink and green, and we like to make a bow out of it.
Looks like a ribbon.
Mhm.
It has a really tough stem on it. So if you pull it back and just push it right through, you have that, and it looks pretty in your arrangement.
Mhm.
Looks like you just put one piece of pretty ribbon in it. This actually shows this way, both.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
So-
where you get both going
Yeah.
on it, and you
All
find
right,
a place
so we
for
have
it.
to figure out, do you think right in there?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we just put it down in there.
But another one of our 8 great plants, we have a program
program.
that we do, and we tell you what we grow to show, and then you can buy $10 worth of flowers, and you can have this gorgeous arrangement because you had all this wonderful greenery and texture and movement from plants that you're growing yourself. And they're plants that like our area. Both Marilyn and I live on Anastasia Island, so we get some salt spray, we get sandy soil, we get the conditions that some people say, well, you just can't grow anything in that. Well, yes, you can.
Oh, you can.
You just have to find the right thing.
You do.
You're not going to be able to grow a true English garden, but you can grow something that will give you that effect.
And in
So-
Florida, we have the gift. Other parts of the country, you can maybe grow ranunculus, and I don't know, what things do we lust for? Ranunculus, number
Ours.
one. Our
Very
farm,
ours.
Our girls at Bee Hill are going to start growing ranunculus. We are so excited.
All right.
So we just lust for things like that. But having been raised in the Northeast, for myself, Kathy's a native Floridian, there is nothing like the foliage and the leaves in Florida
We do.
year
We do,
round.
Yeah. We're probably one of the nation's biggest producers of ferns and palms and all sorts of grasses, and in general we do well with vines.
Well,
So-
palm trees are not trees, right?
They're actually grass.
they're
Yes,
grass.
that's
Yeah.
true.
There
Palm
we
tree.
go.
All right, is that fun? And what a fun little presentation. This is for somebody as a gift or something like that. But we think Miss Patmore would be happy to have this.
Yes.
And have a little tea along with it. And if you give it as a gift, you get the little top with it as
Mhm.
well. And we just think it's cute on all sides, and just a sweet little arrangement and lots of fun. So have some fun mixing the flower textures as well as vegetables. I think it can be a lot of fun, and it is an expression of spring. We're not quite to spring right now in our seasons, but we're thinking spring.
I love that fern.
Okay.
All right, so
All right.
this
So
and we did spring in the
we
lantern.
did spring in the lantern. Marilyn will tell you about that because that brings in one of the biggest events in the spring
Yes.
in the South.
Yes. I once upon a time lived in Louisville, Kentucky. So Derby time was the most important thing ever.
Yes.
Then we moved to Augusta where we had the Masters.
Right.
So we were obviously following events.
No
But
spring.
anyway, yes. So we put a mint julep cup in there and just put magnolia leaves, which are perfect for that time of year in that part of the country. And we did red roses, run for the roses. And again, we used, it's a small top, so we just put one hydrangea to cover the top, and we put red spray roses through it, and voila, you're done.
Okay.
Tally ho.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, we are. We are. And we're almost through our seasons here. We're to summer, and we're thinking it's a cool day today. So we're thinking summer right this minute. And we have this wonderful container. Now we've gone back upstairs again. We were downstairs with the tea caddy. Now we're going upstairs with a crown. Not quite as grand as probably something that Downton would really have, but the crown just seems to make so much sense. Another wonderful series on TV, and it's getting ready to come back too,
Yes.
which we can't wait. But one thing we were just aware of, we mentioned in the last segment where the Crawdads sing, and they're making a movie of that, and it's being released this summer.
June 24th.
Marilyn's anniversary.
Yes.
So what a wonderful book that was, and we hope that the adaptation into a movie format is going to make us all glad that we read it and maybe make us want to read it again. Okay, so we've got this wonderful little crown container. Once again, we've got the oasis in the middle, and we have one of Marilyn's most precious vines that she grows, and this is the red form of the passion vine, and
that's
right. And the great thing about the crown is it can hold the little pieces in place.
Can.
We sometimes like working with the passion vine, but sometimes it will not stay still. But this particular container is helping us do that.
The only thing we to do to make it sit still is to sit the container on it. It will stay like that if you just put it on one leaf. Otherwise, it will have its way.
Wonderful.
With you.
Right. Which, you know,
Is
and
that right?
it's getting,
or did you have it
I
on
think
that
it's
one?
all of it. But the wonderful thing
There you
is that this is getting ready to bloom out, and that'll be so pretty.
This will
when
be
it
a gorgeous
does.
flower, and it lasts.
So really pretty. Okay, so we're going to fill this in with these wonderful primary color flowers because, like Marilyn's apron shows you, summer is the time of beautiful color, and you know, lots of things do very well. So we're going to pull in some really pretty things and pop them in here, and we've got some ideas. And we always gather something that looks like a bouquet, and that shows us kind of where we're going. So we'll work back from that. We'll get that incorporated into the container.
Want this guy to be the showpiece? He's kind
Yes,
of
Berbers can be. Now, once again, a little
yeah.
bit like the hydrangea, single stem flower, beautiful flower, but lots of head on that one little stem. So, you know, sometimes they can go west on you. So if you're going to want it to last a long time, it's nice to have a spare somewhere. Yeah,
somewhere.
okay. You want to grab maybe
Some
this
coleus
in. Yeah. There we go.
We have enough room in here. This coleus could just stay in the water, which would probably
you would probably will like.
a good idea.
You know, so many flowers that are water loving. If you can cut this is a circular container. The block of oasis comes in a square. So the good thing about the square going into the circle, it leaves some pockets of water where you can put these plants in that don't really love oasis. They're not really oasis friendly, but the other flowers will arrange a little bit better if you use that oasis to kind of tame them. And I'm going to see if I can work that
I
way.
put this coleus in, and I've let the leaf come out in the magenta color right by that. When that flower blooms tomorrow, you'll have something pretty. This is a no-go, this guy.
No, I think that's
It's
a
a
good
go.
one.
Okay.
Okay. Unless we've got a perkier one back here. Let me see if we have a perkier one. I think that looks like a good one.
Okay.
Looks like a good one.
I like it right down here under the orange,
Yeah, oh,
I
that's
think.
wonderful.
Or not. It's going to be better in Oasis.
We've got these wonderful little mums today. They're almost like little pin cushions, and they're just wonderful, sturdy little things.
And let's remember there were two of them here.
Oh yeah,
Your camellias, the
yes, the
samples.
Sanquas. They're
These are
blooming
from
right-
Kathy's shrub.
Yeah, they're blooming right now because we're in November, close to December, and what I love about sasanquas, they're blooming at a time when you don't have a lot blooming in your yard. So if you grow camellias and sasanquas, it's wonderful. You get all this color.
Yes.
And when they start to fall apart, which they're going to do, you get this wonderful like halo of pink petals, and it lasts for quite some time. So even the echo of the plant is enjoyable, which is nice. You know, sometimes when something dies, it turns brown and looks awful. Well, that's not true with camellias and sasanquas, which is wonderful. They're really a wonderfully well-performing plant. You have to work to grow them where we live because they don't particularly like sandy soil, and they don't like alkaline soil. So I have to amend my soil a lot, but I planted them almost 20 years ago, and they're still going.
They are.
So sometimes it's worth the work to make something do what you want it to do. And sometimes you have to work a little harder.
What is that vine I grow? The fine pink one.
Oh, that's a jasmine.
It is a jasmine.
Oh, but it's wonderful.
It is fine, and it's a spray of beautiful, tiny pink flowers.
Mm-hmm.
And it will, I don't know if it's where I have it or what, but it will make you crazy.
Well, it's very sensitive.
Yeah.
But it's a performer. It's a beautiful performer.
Okay, these are great if you want something architectural. It's Craspedia. And they're just wonderful. They're just fun.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely wonderful.
And let's bring in, fill some. We'll find some things that will fill up.
Pretty little zinnias.
Yeah.
They're
some
summer
Bee Hill
flower.
Farm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're wonderful suppliers of unusual flowers and flowers that really, you can't get anywhere. You know, they're selling their flowers to florists. So luckily, they also sell it at the farmers market. So we're able to be able to benefit from that.
I'm not going to put this in the arrangement, but I'm going to put a few pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I love Florida's vegetation so much.
Mm-hmm.
We just looked up in a palm tree. Do you know what kind that is?
It is a pygmy date.
Pygmy date on Kathy's property. And I looked up there the other day and I said, that is just art. I love that thing. So she got the loppers and climbed up there and got it this morning. So we can use it. To me, it looks like coffee beans.
Yes.
I'm due for some coffee. Yes. And, oh my goodness. Things like this make an arrangement dance. They give it motion. Mm-hmm. You need to find things like this.
Mm-hmm. And
wherever you live, you need to.
And you will see, like, for instance, the lowly palmetto that we used. Well, actually, we used it again, and we're going to show it to you in a minute in the lantern. But we use it as part of the pumpkin arrangement. It has a beautiful little flower that it gets in the spring, and then it has all these green squiggles, and it's just wonderful to work with. So sometimes you get flowers and texture from the unusual places. You just have to be looking around and kind of expect to be surprised.
There you go.
Because things are out there.
Yes.
And you just have to kind of keep looking for them.
I'm always hauling things home from my walks, my dog walks in the morning. There goes that woman again with
the yard waste.
Yard waste days are my favorite days to walk. I find fabulous things.
Now, we'd rather take a beating than go to a flea market or a garage sale.
Yeah.
But we will go through people's yard waste.
We will. We will.
That just shows you where our interests are.
It does.
To each his own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there a plant that is unworthy? Probably not. And sometimes when you're flower arranging, we said this at Amelia, one of our favorite people in the world, Karin from 57 Treasury, we lost her a couple of years ago, used to say, if you don't have what you want, look on the floor. Because sometimes it's something you cut off or thought wasn't really serviceable, and there it is on the floor. So sometimes when you're arranging flowers, don't give up. You might have thrown something in the trash can,
We've done
retrieve.
it.
Yeah.
We've done it.
absolutely. But we want this to be a riot of color because that is summer. Summer is, wonderful clear colors and lots of textures and, great fun to work with. And we keep saying, it's our favorite season, it's our favorite, well, it isn't a season that we don't like, to tell the truth. But that's because the natural world is constantly amazing us. It's constantly giving us something to say, oh my
Always
goodness.
a surprise.
Yeah, always a surprise.
With every season.
Right.
Okay, this is the Cassia again.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
He's making it dance.
And the Cassia has these little balls before it flowers out. They're so pretty.
But
And
gorgeous.
it is a plant that has a lot of movement. It's like a mimosa or a fringe tree or something like that. It has a lot of movement in the plant itself.
All right, now I think we've got it.
Okay, we think that's fun and colorful and looks like summertime. Yeah, it looks like a party. It should be a party. And in closing, we want to say one thing about our lantern, which turned out a lot cuter than we even imagined it was going to. It has the palmetto frond in the back. It has that nautilus shell that we talked about, that we started out. Our first arrangement was called the 95 arrangement, and it was in an envelope, glass envelope with a nautilus shell, and we called it 95 because in Florida, we live near I-95, and people will call you and say, I live 5 minutes from your house, can I come visit?
That
And
sounds like we live on the freeway. No.
We live,
How many miles are we
Well,
from 95?
well, maybe 10 minutes.
10.
10 minutes. But, the thing about it is, if you're growing palmetto, if you have a glass container and you have some shells and stuff like that, you can whip something up in a minute and look like you planned it for hours. You know, this is the life you lead all the time.
Yes.
No, we don't live in Downton Abbey, but we do live in a wonderful place that, does have great vegetation and flowers. So, but what we tucked in, and Marilyn did this, it's so cute, are those little tiny radishes. They look like flowers, but they're not. They're radishes.
They're all farm market material.
Yeah. And they're just gorgeous. They're just so much fun. And they make that shell.
Chambered nautilus radishes.
Right.
Done.
So cute. So
Palm
cute.
leaf. Palm leaf, of course, was too big for that. So you just take your scissors and trim it down, cut the stem off, stuff it in there. Done.
If we can say one thing that we're grateful for, because we're approaching in real time Thanksgiving, and it is to the Friends in the Library, because they make our programs possible. They make not just the Sisterhood programs possible, but they also make our children's pollinator series possible. And they do wonderful things in each and every community that they serve. Every library has its own personality. It has its own patrons. It has its own needs. But one thing a library does in general, we've got a really dear friend that's just moved back to Florida, and we urged her to go get her library card for 2 reasons. She loves to read, and we do too.
Yes. We
But
met in a
also,
book club.
right? But also, the library can hook you up with all sorts of things in your community.
Yes.
Services that you didn't know you had,
Yes.
things that you can get done, people you can meet, ways you can share information, ways you can get information.
If you think you want to be in a book club, but maybe not a neighborhood or where there's maybe more requirements than what you would like, libraries have book clubs. Go.
And they're wonderful. They're wonderful. And children have programming, teams have programming. A library is really all about the community it serves. So there's constantly seeking not just ways to give you things that you're wanting, but to find out from you what you need. So
Yes.
We thank the Friends for sponsoring this program today. We thank the librarians and the staff members that make it possible to get it up and going, editing and getting it out and putting it on the internet. And we thank the spirit of the American library system that really values learning. Something new, something fun, something that you need to know. And there's no better place than your library to find it out.
Absolutely.
So, thank you again for letting us come into your home. And we hope we see you in person in the fall.